At this hour, breaking news on SportsCenter. ESPN's Josina Anderson is reporting the team has been told Tim Tebow is the starter for the Broncos at this time, according to a source in Denver. The Broncos have a bye week. Their next game, October 23rd, versus the Dolphins in Miami. With much more on this breaking story, we say a good morning to NFL insider John Clayton. John, the Broncos in a bye week. Why did head coach John Fox make this decision now?
Well, because of the way that it played out on Sunday by putting Tebow in the game and Tebow providing a spark. I mean, in some ways you can say he is caving to fan pressure, but also, too, Tebow brought a spark to the offense that now we'll see if he can carry for how long, and it gives them a chance to evaluate at 1-4 where Tim Tebow is and what they might need to do at quarterback. Remember, Kyle Orton's up at the end of the year with his contract. Brady Quinn's up at the end of the year. Tebow's under contract, but they really don't know how good he is. And so it was one of those things that it played out that really by Tuesday, John Fox had no choice but to make Tebow the quarterback because of what happened in the game Sunday against San Diego.
You mentioned fan pressure. You mentioned the contracts coming up. Is this an indication that, hey, Tim Tebow is the quarterback of the future moving on, or do you think this is a week-to-week basis here with Tim Tebow as the starting quarterback in Denver?
I'd say it's a game-by-game basis because I don't think the opinions of John Fox and the organization have changed because I don't think there's been enough time to change the idea that they think that Tim Tebow is the third best quarterback on their team. So what has happened, though, is that now, Kyle Orton has struggled and the fans have been on him, and that 1-4, they're just looking for some kind of thing to get some motivation going, get the offense going, and Tebow did some of those things. And so I'd say that they'll let Tebow go as long as he does good things, but maybe after some time they could go back to Orton, could go back to Brady Quinn, but at least Tebow has the team for now, and we'll have 2 practices this week in training camp-like fashion to try to at least get the offense going.
We heard Kyle Orton's name being tossed around the offseason. The NFL trade deadline is now 1 week away next Tuesday. How does this decision play into a possible deal of Orton?
Well, unless another team steps up other than Miami, I don't see a trade happening. And here's the irony of all this. The team that they play October 23rd is the Miami Dolphins, and the game is in Miami. So if they would trade Tebow on Tuesday of next week to Miami, guess who would be coming back and playing Tim Tebow? It would be Kyle Orton. I think that pretty much blocks any kind of a trade for the Dolphins getting Kyle Orton, but that would have to be a discussion for some time later in the week. But the timing of all this, I think, kills any kind of a deal Orton to Miami.
ESPN NFL insider John Clayton with the very latest on Tim Tebow starting for the Broncos. Hannah?
And that would make sense. Orton's going to be a free agent, that they would, I guess, perhaps trade him. Could be quite a
Get
steal.
some kind of value out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it is Kyle Orton has had 5 games to kind of prove himself as a quarterback in the National Football League again for the Denver Broncos. You're 1-4. Maybe it's time for the Tim Tebow experience to begin, because how do we know if it's not going to work or not if he never plays?
Right. So you agree with this decision?
I do agree with it. I mean, if the team was maybe, say, 3-2, 2-2, whatever the record might be, where they're right in the midway point, I'll say you need to stick with Kyle Orton. But right now, they're 1-4. The team is not responding well, it looks like, to Kyle Orton. If they were, they'd be playing a lot better. He's not playing well. Tim Tebow will give them some kind of spark. And again, I'm a big believer. You give a guy an opportunity and a chance. If he fails, now we know. But you never know if you don't give him that opportunity.
Certainly, it's set up for him to succeed, at least in the near future, as you go down to Miami. Now, that's not a home game, but the Dolphins are winless, and there will be a lot of Gators fans sure to be in the stands. Then you come across this, well, at least an early season juggernaut in the Lions. Raiders are tough. I mean, Chiefs got a win, but that's certainly a winnable game for the Broncos. How do you see this playing out in the next few weeks?
I think he should have some kind of success going down there in Miami. Again, they're struggling on defense, obviously struggling on offense and scoring points. Not saying he's going to put up 24 points at quarterback, but that's a game you should be able to go out there and win as a team. The next couple of weeks, the Lions, like you said, the Raiders, those are tough games. You're playing the Lions at home. Maybe that's a little better. They're not on that fast turf. But again, I'm a big believer. Give a guy an opportunity. If he goes out there and fails, now we can say, you know what, he's a failure. He's not a good quarterback. But you never know if you do not give him that opportunity.
We know he has the intangibles and that he sparked this team to a win. Let's just talk football, X's and O's here. How do you put him in a position, knowing what kind of quarterback he is right now, to win ball games?
You got to run the offense around him and his strengths. What he does well, obviously run the ball, moving around in the pocket. There's going to be some plays that he just creates on his own. And that's what you got to deal with. You knew that when you drafted him, though. That's the one thing. You knew when you drafted this quarterback, he was not your typical quarterback. He's not your drop back, look pretty back in the pocket like Tom Brady, Drew Brees, and Aaron Rodgers. He's not. So let him go out there and play, and then we'll see. Then we can sit there and say and critique him later. You know what? Bad decision. Let's move on. But we'll never know.
This wasn't the group that drafted him, however, the folks in charge right now, so some adjustments to be made for sure. And as you said, let's see how it all plays out. It'll be fascinating. One of the great stories of the season, as are the Detroit Lions.